Welcome to episode 148 of Gods and Heroes of Ancient Greece. My name is MyLinda Butterworth, and today we continue with the tales of Odysseus and the story of Telemachus Leaves Sparta. In the meantime, Pallas Athene flew to Sparta, where she found the two youths from Pylos and Ithaca on couches in the palace of King Menelaus. Peisistratus, son of Nestor, was sound asleep, but Telemachus lay awake, worrying about his father. Suddenly, he saw the daughter of Zeus standing at the foot of his bed. "Telemachus," she said, "you do not do well in staying away from home while wanton suitors are feasting and drinking in your palace. Do not delay any longer, but ask Menelaus to let you return to Ithaca before your mother is compelled to marry against her will. For her father and brothers are urging her to choose Eurymachus for her husband. He has outdone all the rest in bringing splendid gifts and has promised a large marriage settlement besides. Hasten home, and if worst comes to worst, entrust your property to a loyal servant until such a time as the gods help you find a wife worthy of you. And one more thing. The strongest of the suitors are lying in wait for you in the strait between Ithaca and Same. They intend to kill you before you can reach your country, so steer away from there and travel only by night. A god will provide you with a fair wind. When you reach Ithaca, tell your companions to go to the city, but you yourself first visit Eumaeus, who tends your swine. Stay with him until the following morning, and from there send word of your safe arrival to Penelope, your mother." When she had spoken thus, the goddess returned to high Olympus, but Telemachus touched his friend's boot with his heel and said, "Wake up, Peisistratus. Let us yoke the horses and start for home." "What was that?" the other answered drowsily. "You surely don't want to leave now at the dead of night. Wait until morning. King Menelaus will give us gifts in parting and speed us on our way with words of friendship." They were still discussing their journeys when dawn came. Menelaus was up even before his guest. When Telemachus saw him walking through the hall, he quickly put on his tunic, slung his mantle over his shoulder, approached the king, and begged him to let him leave for home that very day. "I shall not keep you if you long for your country," Menelaus replied. "A host who burdens his guest with too insistent hospitality is a foe rather than a friend. It is just as discourteous to hold back one who wishes to hasten away as to remind one who lingers of departure. Wait just long enough for me to put gifts in your chariot, and for the women to prepare a meal for you." "Noble Menelaus," said Telemachus, "the only reason I wish to return to Ithaca is that I myself may not be killed while I am making inquiries about my father. It seems that dangers are in store for me, and that I am much needed in my palace." When Menelaus heard this, he hurried to have the food made ready, and went to his storeroom together with Helen and his son Megapenthes. Here he selected a cup of gold and a silver pitcher. Helen looked through her chest and fetched out the most beautiful of the garments she herself had woven. With these gifts the three returned to their guest. Menelaus offered him the cup. Megapenthes set the pitcher before him, and Helen went up to him, carrying the garments, and said, "Take these gifts, dear Telemachus, as a remembrance of Helen's art. Your bride shall wear it on her wedding day. Until then, let it lie in your mother's chest. But for you I wish a glad heart and a safe return to your father's house." Telemachus accepted the gifts with courteous words of thanks, and his friends Peisistratus admired them and stowed them away in the chariot. Then Menelaus feasted with the two youths for the last time. When they had already mounted the chariot, the king came with a full cup, poured a libation to the gods, imploring them to give the youths a happy homecoming, and bade them farewell, and sent his greetings to his old friend Nestor. While Telemachus was still thanking his host, an eagle flew up from the court to the right of the horses, carrying a white goose in his talons, and a crowd of men and women followed, shouting, All rejoiced in the sign of good omen, and Helen said, "Listen to my prophecy, my friends. As the eagle flew from his mountain eyrie and snatched the goose fattened on the food of the house, so Odysseus will return from his long wanderings and avenge the wrong done by the suitors who have grown fat on his provisions." "May Zeus make this come true," cried Telemachus. "And if he does, we shall pray to you as to a goddess," Queen Helen. And now the two set out in their chariot. They spent the night with Diocles in Pheræ, who again received them with warm hospitality, and on the second day reached the city of Pylos. As they approached the gates, Telemachus turned to his young friend and said, "Dear Peisistratus, even though our fathers know and value each other, and though this journey we have taken together has made us such good friends, I do not want to enter the city with you. Do not be angry with me for this. It is only that I fear your father will want to keep me as a guest out of the kindness of his heart. And you know yourself how important it is for me to get home as quickly as possible." Peisistratus agreed that this would be the better course, and straight to the shore in the ship of Telemachus. Here he bade his friend a tender farewell, and said, "Now board your ship and leave as soon as you can, for if my father heard you were here, he would come and urge you to spend the night in our palace." Telemachus did as Nestor's son had bidden him. His companions boarded the ship and seated themselves at the oars. He himself stayed ashore near the stern, just long enough to make an offering to Athene, his protectress. While he was still praying to the goddess, a man came toward him in great haste, stretched his hands out toward him, and cried, "By your offering, O youth, by the gods, and by the welfare of your house and your people, tell me who you are and where you live." When Telemachus briefly told him what he wanted to know, the stranger continued, "I too am on a journey. I am Theoclymenus, the soothsayer. My family comes from Pylos, but I myself live in Argos. There I slew a man in a fit of anger. He has powerful kinsmen, and I am fleeing from his brothers and no other male relatives, who have sworn to kill me. Henceforth I have no choice but to roam through the world as an exile. Regard me as a suppliant, and let me board your ship with you, for my pursuers are on my heels." Telemachus, who was of a kindly disposition, gladly asked the stranger into his ship, and promised to see to it that he wanted for nothing when they reached Ithaca. He took the spear from the soothsayer's hands and laid it on the deck. Then he went aboard with Theoclymenus and sat down beside him in the stern. The ropes which bound the ship to the shore were loosed. The mast, carved of pine, was fitted into its socket, and the white sails were fastened to the yards. A fair wind bellied out the cloth, and through the rushing waves the ship sped out to sea. And here's where I end my tale for today. But I'll be back with more tales. Many more tales. Until then, my friends, enjoy the journey.